Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Monday, July the 13th. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, ASX futures are pointing to a positive opening for the local market, up 0.5%. However, those gains may be limited with more threats of escalation from both the US and Iran in the Middle East conflict. European shares ended a 4-week winning streak on Friday amid an unwinding of tech stocks and resurgent Middle East tensions, yet oil prices fell. Whereas on Wall Street, investors shrugged off the latest Middle East threats and stocks climbed on renewed enthusiasm about the AI-related trade. All three major US indices ending higher for the week, the S&P 500 adding 1.2% to be close to a record. The Nasdaq climbed 1.7% over the week, while the Dow fell 0.5%. Well, the AI trade returned to the spotlight after South Korean chipmaker SK Hynix debuted on the Nasdaq, with its US-listed shares jumping 14% after the firm raised around $26.5 billion. Its US peer Micron fell while Meta Platforms jumped to its highest level since April. Moderna tumbled in its worst day in more than a year, close to 11% lower. Delta Airlines fell even after forecasting third quarter profit above expectations. Well, the US and Iranian forces have exchanged heavy missile and drone attacks, while Iran has said it had again closed the Strait of Hormuz. US Central Command denied that, saying the waterway was still open to all vessels, and the US military is prepared to ensure freedom of navigation. The US attack was its third over the past week and has prompted a retaliatory response from Iran, which struck US allies in the Middle East, including Kuwait, Jordan and Qatar, with only minor damage and no casualties reported. On Friday, President Trump said the US would continue talks with Iran, but stated on social media that the Islamic Republic of Iran has asked us to continue talks. We have agreed to do so, but the United States has stated to them in no uncertain terms that the ceasefire is over. Well, US Treasury slid on Friday and renewed tensions between the US and Iran, while disruptions to traffic through the Strait of Hormuz fueled concerns that rising oil prices could add to inflationary pressures. US 10-year yields were at 4.56%, the curve modestly flattered with the 2-year 3 basis points higher. Australian 3-year government bond yield futures rose to 4.44%, the 10-year up to 4.89%. US dollar index was up around 0.1%, the Aussie dollar currently trading at 69.4 US cents. Oil prices settled lower on Friday after the latest round of US-Iran fighting, as traders grew hopeful that shipping would eventually resume in the Strait of Hormuz. Brent futures settling at $76 a barrel, and for the week Brent gained around 5.5%. Gold eased over concerns of higher inflation expectations of tighter US monetary policy. Spot gold at around $4,120 an ounce, having lost more than 1.5% over the week. Copper futures were up slightly. Iron ore was up 0.5% to 101 US a tonne, and Bitcoin is currently trading just below 64,000 US dollars. Ahead this week, it is quiet on the data docket today. Tomorrow we get NAB's June business survey and Westpac's read on consumer confidence. And later in the week, we get a number of quarterly updates, including Rio Tinto and Evolution Mining on Wednesday, BHP, Alcoa and AMP on Thursday, and Northern Star on Friday. Overseas, on Tuesday, China's trade balance is revealed, as well as the US CPI for June. Wednesday sees China's GDP and jobs data, as well as US producer prices and the Fed's Beige Book. Thursday, UK GDP for May and US June retail sales, followed by the EU's June CPI on Friday. That is your week ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.